Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we're going to be reading 3 weight loss stories from Reddit. If you haven't subscribed yet, our subscribers are known as the Narwhals, inspired by the brave unicorn of the sea. I'd encourage you to subscribe to join the original 10,000 Narwhals. Now let's dive right in. So, I lost a friend last night because I lost weight. Hey guys, I'm back again and I just wanted to share something personal that I never thought I would go through. I had lost a friend because I told her that I lost weight. Last night, my friend and I were on the phone for hours until she popped up and said, "I've been meaning to ask you, why did you lose the weight?" And in my head, I got pretty excited wanting to share my story to her and hopefully inspire her. She's obese herself. So I kept it simple and just said that I had high cholesterol and that I needed to lose the weight. She then replied and said, "Well, couldn't you have gotten rid of the cholesterol by just taking some pills?" And I said, "Yes, but also I was overweight and I can't take pills because I'm allergic and can't swallow pills, period. So losing the weight was just a better overall option." She then proceeds to rant about how I'm trying to appeal to society standards and how I'm not being myself. I was really confused and I just cut her off to say, "So losing weight to improve my health is a bad thing?" She yelled and started saying how I'm narcissistic and that I should have just taken the cholesterol pills. I just was very conflicted. So then I just said, "Well, that's in the past now." I wanted to proceed to help her because I thought she would have wanted some influence or support to lose weight, but I just kept quiet. It was an awkward silence for a minute, and she proceeded to speak up, saying, "Well, if you're not going to speak up and apologize, I'm going to hang up and block you, you fat-phobic bumhole." I was just in shock, and she did just that. We've been friends for 5 years, and I've never criticized her weight, nor am I against fat people. I'm against obesity, to better lifestyle. However, if people are fat and are happy, then so be it. I just was trying to share my experience for what I did for myself, and it seemed like that was too much for her. She deemed me as narcissistic and fat-phobic, but I was very humble about the situation. What should I do? I'm blocked. Comment your thoughts below. So, a few things here. First, as I have gotten older, one thing I find that helps is when you are involved in a particularly intense emotional event, you should ask yourself, who was that about? In this case, it is pretty clear that her emotions were 100% about her, and she was using you as the lightning rod to get them out. You were part of an adult temper tantrum masquerading as a conversation. Your role was that of a witness, not a participant. Your feelings of shock and hurt are perfectly acceptable and justified. I'm sorry that happened. Second, I find that in my life, I generally don't want to involve myself with people, organizations, or activities that want to judge me, control me, tell me what to do or how to live my life. This is my boundary and it is what I need to thrive. Living in a society and socializing means that we all have varying degrees of influence over one another. However, you have absolutely nothing to apologize for, and your friend is way over the line. Your friend is wanting to control your thoughts and actions to your clear detriment. That is completely unhealthy, and I would distance myself from that person until they could come to terms with their behavior. You should probably also take a deeper look at your relationship with this person. My guess is that this isn't the first time something unhealthy has happened. If it continues, it definitely isn't the last. Lastly, and most importantly, congratulations on doing something positive for yourself and your health. You should be proud of yourself for making your life better and longer and healthier. You deserve praise for your hard work, and a real friend would see that. My doctor was brutally honest and called me fat, and I loved her honesty. I'm about 50 pounds overweight. My doctor said I need to lose weight. I say, "I don't think I'm that fat." And she goes, "You're fat. You need to lose weight." I say, "I think I'm pretty average." And she immediately shoots back with, "That's because everybody else is fat." She was brutally honest, and I appreciated it. I always knew I let myself go by making excuses like, "Well, I have a lot of muscle under the fat, so I'm not really that overweight." Now I have confirmation that I'm fat, and it was just the kick in the booty that I needed. My incredible journey, 300 pounds to 150 pounds in 13 months, with only diet and exercise. Gallery. In early November 2017, I built my wife a small shelving rack for the kitchen. With the extra pieces of scrap wood, I spent the better part of an afternoon making a stool so that I could sit down and tie my shoes. And the next morning, when I sat down and did so, I broke down crying. We often don't give thought to the small choices we make each day, or how closely our health affects every aspect of our life, and I was no different. I faced one stunning and painful realization after another over the next few days. I didn't have a big frame. I wasn't a burly guy. My thick beard and open button flannels weren't an attempt at style, but to try and hide myself. It wasn't always hot in everyone else's car and house. I was just fat and overdressed. I was now 5'7" and 300 pounds, and it was severely affecting my health and lifestyle. But I didn't give up. I resolved to change this and fix it, once and for good, for the benefit of myself and everyone I know and love. Not after the holidays, not next Monday, now. I knew that 10 years of complete negligence could not be undone in a week. I knew that no miracle berry, supplement, tea, superfood, or detox could lighten anything but my wallet. I knew no extreme diet like keto or paleo could provide anything but temporary results. And most of all, I knew that I couldn't realistically change all my bad habits overnight. I started with a small change every new week. First, I stopped eating fast food. Then I committed to do some form of exercise 3 days a week. Next, I decided to try smaller portions of only home-cooked food and avoid any product with added sugar. Shortly after New Year's, I was astonished when I weighed myself again and saw I had lost 24 pounds already. So I kept pushing. I started counting calories, taking my exercise more seriously, tracking my progress weekly, cutting out diet soda, and most of all, staying dedicated and consistent no matter what life threw at me. Nothing would halt my journey. If a week went by without progress, I tried something different or made a change. At the start, it was only about losing weight, the number on the scale, and something physical. But as the months went by, I began to learn more about myself than I ever imagined. I learned that my weight gain was merely a symptom of a larger problem of self-neglect. I learned not to take excuses, not for myself or anyone else. I learned that the path to a better life lay in my attitude and choices, not my body. Through the journey of losing 150 pounds, I gained countless new things. My clothing went from size 3XL to small, my waist from 44 to 28, my glasses, shoes, and wedding band no longer fit. But it wasn't the physical benefits that I was the most happy to gain. It was when I suddenly had the energy to go through my normal day, the confidence to speak with conviction and sincerity at my brother's wedding, when I no longer needed to hide from photos, and the newfound clarity to forgive the shortcomings of others and focus on inspiration and improvement rather than jealousy and malice. My son and wife can now behold a man rather than a mess, and I can tie my shoes wherever I want. It is at this point I no longer refer to it as weight loss, but as life gain. It isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle change. There is no end to this journey because it will be a lifelong endeavor. I am instilled with a new spirit, confidence, and happiness, which is beyond words, and I am humbled by the experience. Holy crap, that's crazy that you lost so much in such a short amount of time. That mental fortitude is honestly inspiring to me. Did you lose it pretty evenly, like 11.5 pounds every month? Or did you lose 5 pounds in the first month, then 30 pounds, then 20 pounds, etc.? The first 2 months, I lost 25 pounds without even counting calories, just making lifestyle changes as described. The next 50 pounds came off at the same speed as the last 10 pounds. It's an energy problem, and in the obese weight range, your diet creates a huge caloric deficit where you can easily do 3 to 4 pounds or even more in a week. But as you get into the regular overweight ranges, 1 to 3 becomes par for the week, and eventually I reached a point where 0.5 a week was a success. The key is to remember that you're making progress instead of excuses. And each step on the journey, however small, is better than yesterday and closer to the goal. This is something I really needed to hear. My loss has slowed to around 0.5 to 1 pound a week, but I need to remember that it's still progress. You're a huge inspiration and a reminder that there is no secret to losing weight. There's no fancy pills or drinks or special vegetable that only grows in the north side of the Andes. It's calories in versus calories out. That's it. Exercise helps a ton, but at the end of the day, it's simple math. And once you get a good app and get a handle on what you need to eat versus what you are eating, you quickly learn how much more you were eating than you needed. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of hard work, perseverance, and self-discipline. You've done amazing. While the concept is easy, the lifestyle isn't always, and you've gone above and beyond to get healthy and strong. Kudos to you, sir. And that brings us to the end, narwhals. If you made it till the end, I'd encourage you to tap the thumbs up button below. That really helps us grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, our subscribers are known as the narwhals, inspired by the brave unicorn of the sea. I'd encourage you to subscribe to join the original 10,000 narwhals, and so you don't miss future videos like this. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave, be a narwhal.